When you're aligned with your purpose in life, magic happens. Things just fall into place. Kumusta? Maayong gabi. How are you tonight? Friday evening here in New Zealand. Bring on the weekend. Woohoo! Thank you for joining me tonight. For those who are just joining me tonight for the first time, welcome to Rexyap Unshackled. You see, in the past 3 years, I have freed myself from limiting beliefs. I have since accepted and loved myself completely, because truly you cannot give what you don't have. Now I can love completely. I can give unconditionally. Now I live my life with passion. This is my way of paying forward, my way of being a responsible steward of everything that has been entrusted to me. And by doing this, I am actively showing my gratitude, which leads to happiness, and that leads to growth. So for those who have been joining me in the past couple of weeks, thank you so much for your feedback, comments, and likes. Keep them coming. So our conversation tonight ends the series about PinoyPRENEURSHIP, about business. We have had informative conversations about starting a business, digital marketing, and business coaching, thanks to our very good, well-informed guests. Tonight, our conversation will be about one very important aspect of any business, and that is human resources development. Ang negosyo kasi, parang gulong na bisikleta na may ilang spokes. Nandyan yung finance, accounting, sales, marketing, operations, at ito ngang human resources. Pag may isang aspeto na hindi maalagaan, ang hirap patakbuhin ng gulong. The business will not be sustainable, or di kaya hindi na nag-grow talaga. Okay? So actually itong transition from being self-employed, meaning you have to be there para tatakbo yung business, to being a full-fledged business talaga. Usually it involves employees It involves tulong ng ibang tao. So you see, I have experienced both sides. I have been an employee and an employer. I have an idea how each side of the table feels and thinks. It would be good to know how your employer or your employee, as the case may be, see things. Halina, join me as I welcome our guest for tonight. But before I call her in, let me just say something about her. Okay. She is a dynamic human resources generalist for 15 years, helping businesses grow and achieve its full potential by taking care of its organizational capabilities. An enabler taking active participation in translating business strategies into systematic and practical solutions that allow organizations to respond to its business demand. Wow, what a role, As well as drive performance and implement efficiencies. A business support provider focused on contributing towards the achievement of the organization's vision. Tonight's guest, bigatin ito. Pag tingnan natin yung experience niya, talagang wala na akong ibang mahingi pa to have as a guest tonight. She's currently the Group HR Advisor at Airedale Property Trust. She had been an advisor at Anthony Harper, HR consultant at Propero Oakland, regional HR manager ng TFC for 6 years, HR director and HR consultant of CB Richard Ely Philippines, and training and recruitment officer, manager, and HR head at Mega World. Sino hindi nakakilala ng Mega World sa mga Filipino na mga nanonood ngayon? Okay. And she is a graduate of Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from the Greenies De La Salle University. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome yung kausap ko tonight. Makinig lang kayo as we talk about a lot of very important things. Importante ito kahit na anong role mo, whether employee ka or employer ka. This discussion tonight is really for you. We will see both sides of the table, as I've mentioned. So please help me welcome my very good friend, expert sa HR. Ito na yon, si Chel Hernandez. Hi, Chel. Good evening.
Hi, Kuya Rex. Good evening. At good evening sa lahat
okay lang
ng
naman,
nanonood.
Kuya, kasi parang magbibisto yung edad natin. Okay lang. How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm really good. Medyo busy week lang, but I'm really in good shape because it's almost weekend. So thank you for having me here.
Oh, ako ang mag-thank you sa'yo kasi alam ko marami kaming matutunan sa'yo tonight.
Sana.
Ah, paano ka pala napasok sa HR? Kasi it could be a very challenging field eh. Kasi we're
Yeah.
talking about tao. Kaya yung tech halimbawa, lahat ng mga negosyo, halos may mga tech ano sila, tech support. Alam ko yung computer, pag nag-lock ko, i-reboot ko lang yan kahit papaano, gagaling na. Pag tao, para medyo mas mahirap eh. What made you decide to take on that role?
To begin with, yung course ko kasi nung college is psychology. So, even before akong nag-college, while I was still in high school, I have great interest in analyzing people. Parang it's a mystery for every person because everyone
Ginamit
is
mo ba yung
unique.
kay Norman?
Medyo.
Nanonood ba? Nanonood ba?
Pero
Hindi naman.
manonood daw siya after. Ayun, manonood niya yun.
Okay, anyway, yeah, go ahead.
So yun, so it's a big mystery, napaka-challenging i-analyze ang isang tao. And I think it would be impossible to really analyze even one person over a lifetime. So it has been my passion to really try to understand a little bit about each and every individual that I meet. So yun yung naging passion ko. So nung nag-start ako mag-work, I started working in a hotel. So nasa concierge front desk ako.
Ito yung
But
sa
I realized
Pan-Pacific, was it?
it was in Pan Pacific. I was one of the first employees ng Pan Pacific Hotel. So
Okay.
it was then I realized ang passion ko talaga nasa tao, and not just meeting people but trying to help them develop themselves and get the best out of them, yung potentials nila ilabas. So I think human resources profession is the best way to actually do it. So yun yung naging long-term goal
Dati
ko.
kasi sa Pinas expression, ang experience ko dati kasi nung mag-start kami, we are so fortunate na nagkaroon kami ng business coach in the person of Edward Gaizano. And nung nag-strategic planning kami, pinagawan niya kami ng system ng tauhan niya na yung katiwala talaga niya. And one of the departments was human resources. So at first, we thought, hindi siya importante kasi we were, nag-distribute kami ng mga gadgets, ng mga, yung sa Globe at Smart ba, yung mga prepaid cards, yung mga ganun, we were distributor nila sa Visayas. Okay, so we thought more on inventory, finance, Pero alam mo, dumami ang tao, no, more than 15 ang tao namin, more than that na, masakit sa ulo in the sense na, like halimbawa, nabibigay ng bonus yung iba natutuwa, yung iba nagagalit. Yung mga ganun, ang hirap. You have to do a lot of things kasi we're talking about people eh. Hindi to inventory or product or service. Tao talaga. Okay, that's good. Now, let's go straight away kasi we have a short lang. I try to kasi Friday night alam ko may mga lakad yung iba, may mga date. Let's try to keep it brief pero pa rin, malaman pa rin. So let's go straight ito mga functions ng HR, okay? So I'll flash this one. The first one would be about recruiting.
Yes.
So when you say recruiting, unahin natin yung sa point of view ng employee yung nag-a-apply. So halimbawa, may nag-a-apply, 100, 150, 200 applications, okay? Lalo na ngayon, di ba? Marami naghahanap ng work. Ano ang kaagad ang tinitingnan ng mga tao sa HR? Ano yung sa recruiting side? Anong tinitingnan nila sa applications? Like in your case, what do you look at in terms of applications?
Bago ko sagutin yan, I'll share one very good thing, no? Kasi lahat ng mga HR or ng mga recruiter na tumitingin sa mga CVs, they only spend 6 seconds to look at the CV. 6 seconds.
Kinain ko yun ng buong gabi. 6 seconds na. All right.
Unfortunately, yes. On the average,
6 seconds.
6 seconds. At one glance, yung experienced HR practitioner or recruiter would know kung yung tao na yon ay qualified. So the first...
Ikaw 15 years, so siguro 3 seconds lang.
I still spend probably mga 6 seconds to 10 seconds pa rin pag maramihan. Pero if there are less applicants naman, I can spend more. Pero imagine kung halimbawa 200 applications, you cannot really spend that much time. So the first thing we look at is, kasi normally, iminamatch namin yan doon sa position description. Ano yung kailangan namin. So, one tip siguro, especially for yung mga tao dito sa New Zealand, yung mga nag-a-apply ngayon, you have to look for keywords that would match yung position description or job ad doon sa
Keywords.
CV ninyo. Yes, it's very important. And even if, kasi dito uso na rin yung, yung ATS na tinatawag nila, applicant tracking system. So if it's not a person, at saka alam mo, 'di ba Kuya Rex, dito mahal ang per hour.
Yes,
So
yes.
almost all companies, especially the small, medium ones, or even the big recruitment companies, they use the applicant tracking system to actually screen out applicants. And what this
Applicant
applicant
tracking
tracking
system.
system
Yes, go ahead.
does is hahanap lang siya ng keywords that would match kung ano yung nakalagay either sa job ad mo or sa position description. At pag hindi niya nakita yon or any related words, wala ka na, tanggal ka na doon sa selection process.
Okay, let me just recap that one. Ha? Importante kasi yan eh. So, yung what you're saying is kung ano yung pinalabas na ad, ano yung mga keywords doon, as much as
Yes.
possible, i-match nila doon sa application nila.
Yes.
There you go. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So isang magandang tip yan. Kaya minsan, may experience kayo na kakasubmit nyo lang, a few minutes after, makaka-receive na kayo ng regret letter. That means
Sakit
it's
na.
the system that is doing the job.
Kasi automated na.
Yes,
Automated na. By the way, before we proceed, Chel, please, make some comments. May comment, comments natin. We will try to, or by questions kayo, or may mga suggestions kayo, we'll read some of them later. Yeah, we will appreciate those. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Ano pa?
And then, yun nga, ang isa pa dito, the CV should be tailor-fitted talaga doon sa kung ano yung hinahanap nila. Unlike sa atin sa Pilipinas, one CV for all. Andun lahat ng qualifications mo and everything.
Yes,
Tapos,
yes.
oo, dito, you have to make sure na kung ano lang yung needed sa job, yun lang yung parang i-highlight mo rin sa CV. Okay?
Hindi maraming palamuti kung ano lang ang appropriate doon.
Hindi. And ideally, a CV should only be 1 to 3 pages. 3 pages maximum. If you can actually make it 1 page, para kasi siyang trailer lang ng movie, hindi mo ibibigay lahat. So parang bibigyan mo lang ng idea yung employer, ano yung mga naging positions mo, anong qualifications mo, but not in full detail. So ideally, it's 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 pages just for them to have an interest na, oy, sige, invite natin for interview kasi mukhang okay ito yung position niya dati or ito yung ginawa niya dati. So, yun, that's another thing. So, believe me, Alex, ako, 7 months ako naghanap for that really permanent role kasi usually nakukuha ko yung mga part-time lang.
Yes.
Pero it's all worth it. Talagang tinitailor fit ko is you really have to invest a lot of time and effort. Na ako, HR na ako. Alam ko na kung ano yung dapat na hinahanap. Pero I struggled pa rin nung una kasi nga the system is quite different on how we recruit people here. So it's really, it really pays kung alam niyo kung paano yung nag-work din yung sa recruitment.
Oh, wow. Yan pa lang, Shell. Parang pwede na tayo mag-goodbye sa kanila. Parang, wow, thank you so much for that input. Ako naman din, having been on both sides of the table nga, di ba, employer-employee, nakita ko talaga, nakukompare ko rin siya sa relationship talaga eh. Na kahit pilit mo yung sarili mo, hindi naman swak yung values ninyo, in the end, hindi rin kayo happy eh. On the other hand, you would know. If you check around, dapat alam mo na yung workplace, okay sa'yo, tapos yung values nila are attuned to your own values. Kasi in the end, it's not just about the remuneration eh.
No.
Parang dapat happy ka talaga sa workplace mo. And do you have other things that i-tip regarding sa recruiting side?
Is this, kung dun sa applicant side, another tip would be, dito din sa New Zealand, it's who you know and not what you really know. When I say that, networking is very important. Connecting with people is very important.
There you go.
I've attended siguro mga 3, 4 or 4 workshops about how to know the market here in New Zealand and how to really succeed dun sa paghahanap ng trabaho. And ang isang palagi nilang sinasabi is, please try to connect to people because these people will actually help you achieve kung ano yung pwede niyong marating. And for instance, number 1 is LinkedIn. Would you know that I got my job in TFC through LinkedIn, and at the same time, I also got my job in Anthony Harper, which is a law firm, through LinkedIn. So nakakadalawang employer na ako na through LinkedIn.
So what happened? They called you, kinontak ka dahil sa LinkedIn?
Yes. So halimbawa yung sa TFC, a recruiter saw my profile on LinkedIn, hindi pa ako masyadong active noon, and reached out to me. Doon sila naghahanap ng candidates.
These are usually for professional works, no? Like yung office works and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay, baliktarin ko yung table ngayon.
Okay.
Sa side naman ng employer dito sa New Zealand, anong tinitingnan nila kaagad? Like when you present those applications na vinet mo na?
Usually kasi yung after naming mag-screen or actually baligtad dito eh. Ang unang nagpe-paper screen dito is yung mga service managers o yung hiring manager mismo. Sa kanila ibibigay kay HR and ipapa-reassess kung tama ba yung kasi the first that they will look at are the skills and the experience. They would know better. Yung role kasi ni HR, hindi naman kami yung expert or subject matter expert in that area. So sila yung pinaghahanap namin unless HR yung hinahanap namin. So kami yung magpe-paper screen or any HR related role. And then after that, ibibigay sa amin and then we assess naman based on the basis of culture fit and other soft skills. So it's going to be a combination of the technical skills needed by the manager, hiring manager, and at the same time, the assessment of an HR professional in terms of yung behavior, culture fit, and team fit is actually very important here. Kasi,
so at that stage, application pa lang, malalaman yung team fit?
Yes, kasi makikita doon sa mga interests, sa hobbies, tapos ano yung pinanggalingan na working environment, yun yung mga assessment. Tapos it will further on.
Importance na ilalagay mo yung mga hobbies mo, mga interest mo.
It is very important.
Kung naman, pag puro sugarol yung nasa team na dati, tapos ikaw hindi ka sugarol, wala. Hindi ka player, di ba? Sandali lang, Chela.
Opo.
Tingnan mo, quarter, 7:47 na, ang bilis ng panahon, di ba? Hindi pa tayo one topic na tayo. Hahaila ako sa nanood ngayon. Ito yung big time na plasterer sa South Waikato eh. Sorry bro, kasi every time I see your name, nalilimitan ko yung pangalan ng place. Pero yun, siya yung pinakamalaking plasterer Filipino sa South Waikato. S-Works Tiad Costello ang ang profile name niya sa Facebook. Nanonood pala yung yung lover boy mo. Say, hi Norman, kumusta? Ben Chan, watching from Cagayan City. Kuya Ben, kumusta? Jason, itong kay Jason, siya yung digital presence consultant ko. I-flash ko lang yung comment niya. Maganda eh. So LinkedIn, most of us had no Kiwi network and we are too shy, scared, or had never tried to approach a stranger. So dala natin yung culture natin sa Philippines. It's not the case here, di ba? No. Thanks for that, Jason. The other one, I would easily recommend that we look at our LinkedIn page and connect with people. O, di ba? Tutulungan mo ako dyan, Jason, di ba? James Mercado, bayang gabi, bye. Sos Guido, thank you so much for joining us. See, as promised, this will be a very fruitful conversation between me and Chel, an expert sa HR. Chel, proceed tayo sa second topic. Baka maubusan na tayo ng time.
Sige po.
The next one is onboarding.
Yes.
Ayan, onboarding. So what can you say about that process?
This is a very important process kasi once you have chosen the employees, ibig sabihin you're already entrusting this person with the role kung saan mo siya inassign. So the employer's role is basically to enable that person be able to perform the role or the job. So it involves, number one, making sure that the person is welcome, diba? Hindi siya yung parang feeling isolated dahil bago siya. Pangalawa, meron ba siyang knowledge on specific areas na kailangan niya? Organization-wide, department-wide, team-wide, ano yung mga kailangan niyang malaman? No, kasi that will give him the confidence, di ba? Yeah. That he's on the right track. Pangatlo, are there any gaps in skills na kailangan niya pang i-improve? Kasi normally meron namang mga hinahire talaga na they may not have the skills yet, but they do have the potentials. So it's the employer's responsibility to bring out that potential at para mas maging effective siya sa role niya.
Okay, Chel, let me just break that conversation na. Kasi let us see, for example, the perspective of a Anyway, karamihan naman dito sa New Zealand, di naman malalaki, di ba? Small and medium karamihan, tatlo, 5 empleyado. So let's apply this, itong pinag-usapan natin tungkol sa onboarding sa isang
Yes.
restaurant business.
Yes.
Maliit na Filipino business na restaurant. Tapos may nahayang siyang tao, like for example, ma-assign sa kitchen. Okay? Like, paano natin ngayon, di ba kasi karamihan, ang narinig ko, parang ina-assume na kaagad ng owner na alam na niya lahat. Binigay na lang, ito na yung susi sa kusina, bahala ka na dyan. So, how would you apply this?
That is the common mistake. Kasi kung sino yung bago, you don't assume na alam niya, kahit na alam mong may capability siya. Kasi organizations still operate differently. Kahit na halimbawa kami sa HR, we know the basics of the HR role or HR function. Pero there are still different ways of doing things. So may mga kanya-kanyang sistema. So the employer should always think, ay bago to. So kailangan i-present ko sa kanya o ipakita ko sa kanya kung ano yung mga dapat niyang gawin or paano niya dapat ginagawa. Kasi pwedeng, ang common na nangyayari sa mga bago is gagawin nila kung ano yung mga dati nilang ginagawa sa employer nila, only to find out, mali pala, hindi pala dapat ganon kasi there's a better way of doing it or hindi pala yun naaayon kung ano yung kultura nila or kultura ng mismong organization. There will always be, kahit gaano ka-expert siguro yung isang tao, like for instance, may iti-take in kami na part ng senior leadership team, that person still needs the proper onboarding. Kasi nga, galing siya sa labas bago siya Hindi natin pwedeng assume na alam niya na lahat. Hinire natin siya for a specific reason dahil expert siya on this specific field. Pero we have the responsibility to show it to that person ano yung dapat niyang ginagawa, ano yung expectations to begin with.
So parang isi-set up mo siya to succeed na makakontribute siya sa organization.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So like when it comes to onboarding, for example, like in your case, di ba, expert ka na sa HR, pagpasok mo sa isang organization, I'm looking at the perspective ng employee ngayon pagpasok sa organization na like dito sa New Zealand, ano experience mo? Are you free to provide some inputs and do things na alam mo na, or do you stick to what is what you're being told to? Gaano ka open sila dito na you can do your thing?
I was fortunate, especially dito sa company ko ngayon, na they are open to suggestions, no? Pinapakita nila. May ibang hindi. Meron ding ibang hindi. May mga naririnig din ako na, ay, hindi, nag-i-stick sila. Tapos may isa pa nga nagsabi na, why would you fix something that is not broken? Kahit na
I hear that a lot. Yes, that's right.
Oo. Tsaka medyo may iba kasing conservative din. It all boils down to respect. So I think para sa akin halimbawa yung sa employer ko ngayon, I've presented to them some new ways of doing things. And since they have an open mind and they respect and they probably trust me na alam ko yung ginagawa ko, they have accepted and embraced that one. So ngayon, sinasama na namin siya doon sa usual practices namin. And the effect of that for someone new like me is immense kasi parang iniisip mo, you're being trusted, you're being considered as an expert in your field. That's why tinitake nila on board kung ano yung mga suggestions mo. And for the employers, that's really, that really brings out a positive working environment.
That's right. Chel, sa akin naman, lalo pag, again, kasi karamihan nanonood natin, or if not all, Filipinos naman. I'm trying to address this to Filipinos dito sa New Zealand lalo na. Okay? So for example, after itong process ng onboarding ng company, and you still feel na hindi enough, tatahimik ka lang ba, or you really have to call the attention of the management? Kasi ang iba, takot baka sabihin, hindi ka pala competent, hindi ka pala bagay dito sa role. Ang consequence kasi yan could have a long time consequence kasi yan
Yes,
so, dapat bang lapitan yung manager niya? Paano? How do you approach that without appearing like you're incompetent or hindi ka ready sa role?
Dito kasi dapat talaga yung reporting manager yung lalapitan mo and then you will air out the concerns. The approach will always be, you know what, I think I'm not doing well on this area, or I think I need to improve on this. I probably need your support. And when you say, I need your support or I need your help, people will always have the tendency na, okay, sige, kailangan niya pala ng help or ng support, so para mas magawa niya to. And you have to really speak up kasi Otherwise, that can be taken against you in the process. Pwedeng sabihin nila, o sige, hindi ka nagpe-perform, ilagay ka na lang namin sa performance improvement plan kasi parang hindi yata ikaw yung dapat na hinire namin. We don't wanna get to that point. So at as early as possible, kasi dapat yun may check-in din naman yung mga managers on a weekly basis. It's managers' responsibility to provide that support. Let's say yung mga one-on-one coaching, mentoring, kung paano ginagawa yung mga bagay-bagay. So dapat from there pa lang, nagsasalita ka na. Kailangan magsalita ka. Alam ko yung mga Pilipino mahirap magsalita.
Exactly. Yun palagi. Again, I would like to invite our viewers na kung may comments kayo o mga tanong kayo kay Chel, please do. Ang ganda talaga ng topic na ito. This is something close to my heart eh. Kasi back in the Philippines, yung sa negosyo namin, I was the managing director na isa ito sa concerns na tinitingnan ko. And I haven't seen na mga empleyado namin before sa Cebu na who are very passionate at what they do kasi nakikita nila yung pag-grow ng tao, nakikita nila yung motivate yung tao, alam nila yung contribution nila sa company eh. Ang problema sa mga small business owners, hindi naman binibigyan pansin masyado itong sa human resources kasi akala nandiyan naman yung tao, pero hindi nila inintindi talaga that there are aspects na dapat talaga nilang pagtutuunan ng pansin, di ba? Okay, punta tayo sa may onboarding pa ba? May usapan tayo sa onboarding? Let me just digress a bit ha. Ang ganda ng narinig ko last month tungkol sa recruiting pala kasi may nagtanong, kailan dapat mag-hire ng tao? Like small business ka, di ba? Dalawa lang kayo ng mag-asawa tapos nako, hindi ka na makakatulog, hindi ka makakain dahil sa sobrang busy na, you know? So, kailan ka ba magre-recruit? Ang ganda ng sagot ng napanood kong show eh. Sabi niya, you start recruiting when you can afford to hire your weakness. Pag ang weakness mo ay time, pwede ka na mag-hire ng iba para you can then spend time on your own. Tama ka naman, di ba? Ang weakness mo, hindi ka magaling sa isang bagay sa negosyo mo. I mean, you can do better, then you can hire somebody who can do better than you sa particular aspect na yan. Then matutukan mo yung napatutukan, di ba? Okay, and that brings me to the third topic o third aspect ng HR, which is yung pag-i-evaluate. Ayan. Dito sa New Zealand, how is it done? Yung pag-evaluate ng performance and everything?
I think this is done more on informal setup. Kasi yung evaluating nila, siguro narinig mo na Kuya Rex yung let's have a catch-up, coffee catch-up. Okay? Okay. Evaluating dito based on my experience, they do their formal, let's say, performance evaluation on a monthly, at least on an annual basis, diba? Some would even do it semi-annual or yung iba quarterly. Pero yung evaluating kasi, in the truest sense of the word, it's really like feedbacking, giving you feedback, how you're doing. And right now, the trend in human resources is to give people real-time feedback. Don't let 1 year pass, saka mo sasabihin, ay, nung ganitong date, ganito yung ginawa mo. Oo. It doesn't make sense anymore kasi tapos na.
Tama naman.
So the most important aspect siguro that I can actually share with everyone, no, especially kung manager kayo and you're handling people, is the real-time feedback because they deserve to know it. I know for a fact a lot of people who resigned from, let's say, certain companies just because they're not even given any feedback at all, whether negative or positive. And dun sa mga employees naman, your ability to actually accept constructive criticisms or yung hindi masyadong positive na feedback, you should be open to that. And I know for a fact, I myself, I was so sensitive at first nung nandito ko na parang I take things personally. Kasi
Sinabi ko pa.
Tagal ko na sa craft na to, sa field na to, pero parang bakit ganon? Hindi pa rin pala ako. Oo. But we always have,
Let me share my experience. Diba? Sinabi ko na yung first employment ko dito, kasi nung nag-isa ako dito, iniwanan ako ni John sandali eh. Okay? Nung nag-isa ako dito, and I have done backpacking, travel ako around New Zealand, wala akong ibang magawa, I tried working at one of the casinos dito. Just for the heck of it. I want to learn how to play blackjack halimbawa. You know what? Doon sa floor sa casino, I was poked at the back na parang by the supervisor na Russian. Sabi niya, go to the table. And I felt offended pero wala akong ginawa doon kasi takot ako baka ma-affected yung residents ko, yung mga ganun. Pero in the end, dito pala, yung pag tinatawag ng feedback, yung evaluating stage, both sides pala yan, ano? You
Both
can
sides
actually,
yan.
you can then give feedback sa workplace mo, the way you think about itong kumpanya, how you feel about it. Kasi dapat happy lahat eh. I mean, happy in the sense na we are the same team. We are rowing in the same direction. It will not help the business kung iba-iba yung direction natin, di ba?
Totoo, totoo. Tsaka managers, kasi pag hindi ginawa ng managers yung nagbibigay sila ng feedback, pwede rin silang ma-call as, oh, you're neglecting your duty as a manager. Kasi it's your responsibility to actually magbigay ng feedback sa tao mo and tell them whether they are on track or they're lagging behind. So, and to provide that support kung meron silang kailangan na support from you.
Pero
So,
Chel, ito na Chel, lalo na pag small and medium businesses, busy-busy ka na, may time ka pa ba para sa mga onboarding na yan, evaluating na yan? Paano? Do you have to do it on our own? May paraan ba na can we outsource that? Or paano ba?
Meron. Actually maraming organizations dito where you can outsource. Kasi nga, di ba parang 70% of the companies or businesses here in New Zealand are small and medium enterprises. Hindi katulad sa Pilipinas, mas marami yung malalaking corporations or companies. So like for instance, on our part, kahit na meron kaming internal HR, we also have an external HR partner. So hindi ako magpo-promote pero sasabihin ko lang kung sino yung mga ginagamit namin. We have EMA, for instance, or the Employers and Manufacturers Association. So they provide advices then on some critical HR matters na halimbawa medyo legislative na yung kailangan naming basis for employment legislation. And then we also have an external law firm na kapartner din namin. But for others, pwede rin meron din yung EmploySure, which offers services. Ito, nagkikater talaga sila mostly for the small and medium enterprises na wala talagang internal HR. So sila yung outsourced HR person na
so in your experience, worth naman siya kasi alam ko, you have to spend for that. Worth
naman. Kasi you will really receive yung advice and support that you need if you don't have an internal HR person or HR practitioner. So, worth siya. Ano pa ba? We also have my HR. Maraming support externally available. Siguro, mas magandang makakuha kung ano yung pinakamaganda talaga. Try to listen to some of your friends kung ano yung mga ginagamit ng ibang mga business owners or ng ibang companies para first-hand experience mo share nila, ito okay ito, ito hindi ito masyadong okay.
Kasi pero alam ko,
EMA okay siya.
Itong stage kasi na ito, alam ko importante ito para sa record na rin for compliance purposes, di ba?
Yes.
Kasi if something happens later, which is yun ang last topic natin mamaya, this will be part of the documentation. So let me just recap a bit about evaluating So ito yung stage na parang both sides will evaluate each other sa side ng management, sa side ng employer, not being the police kasi sa Philippines nga ang tingin ng ibang tao ito yung policeman ng organization. Until I was educated enough to know about these things, hindi naman pala, it doesn't have to be that way. It could be part of a function lang to enforce ano yung nandoon sa mga code of conduct and everything, but it's way beyond that pala, no? So itong evaluating pala, it is part of your function sa HR to make sure na natutugunan kung ano yung dapat gawin, happy ba sila or hindi ba sila happy, then it will give a feedback mechanism na which is important for the organization talaga. And for the small businesses out there, whether sa Philippines, makaka-outsource ka rin ba ng HR?
Yes, meron ng mga outsource nung time ko na nandun pa ako. Alam ko marami na rin ngayon So, pero medyo hindi na lang ako updated masyado kung ano yung mga yun.
Naalala ko tuloy, nung bago pala yung company namin sa Cebu, we have to pay a 6-figure fee for our HR consultant. And for us, that was a big thing. Kasi parang bago lang kami, tapos mabayad kami ganito. But that was one of the best decisions we made. Talaga. That was really good. Naiwas sa sakit sa ulo. Okay, the next one, second to last topic natin would be about this. Big thing ito, di ba? This will make good employees stay. All right. Okay. Exactly. So motivating.
Motivating. Employee engagement kasi yung number one na naiisip ko whenever I see the word motivating. Kasi there could be a lot of ways and people are motivated in different ways.
Yes, yes.
Dun sa mga studies nga on, baligtarin natin, why do people leave organizations?
Yes, yes.
So, ang number one is actually with the superiors or with the managers.
Immediate
With the boss.
Okay.
Kung sino yung direct na nag-handle sa kanila, yun yung major influencer kasi kung papaano sila on their daily lives inside the workplace. So, we rely heavily in terms of motivating, we partner with the managers on how to motivate their teams and how to retain them, basically. Motivating is not just an HR function, actually. It's more of, probably sabihin natin, 70% role of the manager, 30% magsusupport si HR in terms of how we can retain and motivate employees. Sa araw-araw to, Kuya Rex, sa lahat ng mga ginagawa, especially the decisions that you make, managing people is also like parenting, no?
Exactly.
Dinidisiplina mo kung kailangan, but you always have a purpose in mind na para sa kabutihan nila. So, ito yung tinatawag natin, you're always acting on good faith na tinatawag pagdating sa employment legislation.
And it works both sides, di ba?
It works both sides, di ba?
Kung mabigat ka rin dalhin talaga para
Oo. Hindi lang naman yung empleyado ang problematic minsan yung manager din or minsan yung, 'di ba? It pwede siyang kahit ano
Kaya
So,
masaya ang role mo, Chel. Kaya masaya ang role mo kasi 3D yung concerns mo Pinalibutan ka Napaka-challenging the role. So motivating.
Kaya maraming room for growth talaga pag HR yung profession kasi hindi mo siya mapaperfect kahit na gaano katagal ka na doon sa field.
We're talking about people. So ang contribution ko lang dyan sa motivating, ang nakikita ko talaga based on my experience din is pag nakita nila yung kabuluhan ng work nila, like ano ang value ng contribution nila sa organization. Like before, kasi ako nagtitrain lang rin ng tao namin before, nung nagawa na yung HR system namin, ako yung nagtitrain. Before, karamihan naman sa atin talaga, ang end up ng mga bagong college graduate, or dito sa New Zealand, tinatawag na uni graduate, ang bagsak, mga sales clerk Alam mo na, yung iba, may pride din naman, and I understand that. Kasi bakit ako naging tindera ng telepono, nag-graduate pa ako ng kung ano-ano, di ba? Ang in-explain ko sa kanila na, you know what? What we are selling is not plainly cellphone. You're actually helping people to connect. Like may mga pamilya yan sa Saudi, yung mga asawa anak nandito sa Philippines, and you're providing the means for them to keep in touch, and that's a very noble thing to do. Or may negosyo. The moment na intindihan nila yan, and then they can relate to the job, they can relate to what we're aspiring to, what we're trying to offer. So it's more than a remuneration to a certain extent, ha? Kasi ito yung pang-ending ko sa topic na ito Pag hindi kasi tama yung pagkagawa ng remuneration, like yung pagbaraha pagbabahig, minsan nagiging demotivating yan
Yes.
Diba? Sometimes it's not even about the amount It's more about the fairness. It's about, So, tell me about your experience about that, Chel.
Nako, ano ba yung sa sweldo?
Hindi lang sweldo, di ba? Yung mga perks din, di ba? Ba't si Kwan may parking, ako wala. Ay, mga ganun na.
Totoo yan. Yun nga, katulad ng sinasabi ko, it's like parenting 'Di ba sa bata, isa sa mga palagi nilang binibring up, yan naririnig ko yan kay Nika. That's unfair. So, ganun din pag sa mga teams, no? Especially if you're managing a big team, you always have to think and making decisions, is this fair for everyone? So yun yung magiging number one na question mo sa sarili mo. Kasi kung may masasabi yung iba na ay mukhang hindi siya fair, you have to be ready for whatever objections they may raise against you. And pag hindi mo na-handle yung objection properly, that could be a demotivating factor, not just for one, but probably for the entire team. So kailangan medyo mag-iingat din yung mga managers in terms of their decision making pagdating dyan. Tapos just to add, tandaan natin kasi tao, gusto nila naririnig sila. Gusto nila may importance sila, may worth sila. So if they think that their voices are not heard, halimbawa magre-raise sila ng suggestion, tapos wala man lang feedback kung na-consider ba yung suggestion nila or hindi, or magre-raise sila ng concern, hindi man lang nabigyan ng specific action na anong gagawin natin for your concern, that would be the start of demotivation. And up to a certain extent, pero kaming tinatawag na relationship breakdown. Pag nangyari yung relationship breakdown, yun na, malala na yun, ibig sabihin. Parang yung trust kasi yung nawawala eh. 'Di ba? Parang imagine mo, yung recruiting kasi ligawan. Yung onboarding, no? Parang naging mag-on na kayo, 'di ba? Tapos ito parang you're trying to keep the relationship. So, and you have to keep the trust at the same time. So, ito talagang HR para siyang epitome siya ng anong nangyayari sa isang relationship, kumbaga.
Kaya nga may sinasabi kay Joanne palagi niyan eh. Nag-observe kasi ako ng tao rin eh, yung mga behavior, yung HR talaga, no? Pag nakita ko yung
talaga, kuya.
Pag nakita ko yung mag-asawa na ang lalaki ang layo na ng inuna ng paglakad sa misis, sabi ko, yan, more than 10 years na yung mag-asawa. Pag nauna yung babae, kaya ginuguyo pa na yung babae. Siguro, pag nagkatabi lang, siguro bagong sweetheart, bagong kasal. Parang gano'n din. Parang gano'n din.
Ito yung honeymoon stage, di ba? Kahit sa sa employment, may honeymoon stage kayo eh. Parang during your first 6 months, okay pa kayo. After ng 6 months or after a year, doon na lumalabas yung yung mga diferensya o minsan yung mga problems. Pero
yung tipong mag-nobyo-nobya pa na kahit utot tinatawanan, di ba? Yung mga honeymoon stage, di ba? I-break ko muna sandali usapan natin ha. Hi Miriam, Cagayan de Oro. Okay, tapos sabi ko, worldwide tayo. Jai, thank you for this informative talk night. There's Jason. Sabi, basahin ko lang ito ha. Maganda itong sinabi ni Jason. Maganda itong si Jason. Ang bata pero maganda yung pagkaintindi niya sa mga bagay-bagay. Jason said, I've found that feedback is much easier to accept when individuals have a robust personal growth philosophy. Open ka for improvements, hindi mo pinipersonal. Diba? Good faith talaga. Kasi kung good faith naman ang starting point, then okay lang. Okay.
Ay, dagdag ko lang, Kuya Rex. Meron din kasing, it's how you say things and not what you say. So, napakahalaga kung paano din i-deliver din yung message ng mga managers na hindi siya, kahit na hindi siya masyadong positive, the way it was structured, kailangan pinag-iisipan nila yon. Kasi dapat alam nila din, magtutugma din dun sa personality ng tao. Kasi kung alam nilang very sensitive yung tao, they should have a different approach. But they should still be clear in terms of sending that message across.
Tama talaga. All right, and that brings us, alam mo, 8:13 na. Okay. Ang next nating topic, actually last one eh. Which is tama lang, last one. Ito yun.
Saying goodbye. Totoo yan.
Goodbye. So, again, both sides ito eh. Kasi you don't have to stay pag talagang hindi ka na happy or hindi ka na nag-grow and you think hindi ka na nag-learn, hindi ka na nag-contribute. You are just there for the money. Pero teka muna, life is too short. Baka naman your talent can be used somewhere else. So saying goodbye. So sabihin natin initiated by the employee this time. Paano gawin?
So si employee na yung, bago siya dumating dun sa point, no, probably yun nga, may relationship breakdown nang nangyari or may change sa purpose niya na parang hindi niya na nakikita yung sarili niya to stay longer in that company. Madali lang naman, resignation lang katapat ng mga magiging mahirap lang kung may mga complicated cases. So halimbawa may complaints or may personal grievances, that's the only time that makes it complicated. Pero kung halimbawang nag-decide ka lang talaga na ayaw mo na or you lost faith and trust doon sa company kasi hindi sa tingin mo hindi ka nabibigyan ng worth, just leave, just resign from the company as long as wala namang ginawa si company sa yung unfair labor practices.
So dapat may parang formal na resignation letter. Meron ba yan? Like most of the time, alam ko sa employment contract, pero yung number of days na dapat ipala mo. Pero under the law, mayroon bang minimum talaga na number of days na hindi ka basta-basta makaalis?
Well, 2 weeks would be, hindi siya yung talagang kasi depende siya sa, halimbawa, yung ito-turn over mo. Hindi pwedeng i-dictate ng external person na in 1 week pwede ka nang magpaalam. As long as
Alright.
nag-a-agree si manager mo or employer mo na okay ka nang umalis kasi ito lang naman yung ito-turn over mo, okay na rin yun.
Alright. What about sa side ng, kasi naka-experience kami nito ni Joanne somehow sa side naman ng employer, how do you say goodbye? Hindi mo naman pwedeng goodbye, alis ka na.
Hindi,
Hindi na
oo.
kailangan.
Yung may similarity kasi yung legislation ni Pilipinas at saka ni New Zealand Meron tayong tinatawag na job security for those who have been employed as permanent roles or permanent positions. So we follow a process. We can actually terminate employees only if, halimbawa, ang isang way is meron silang nagawang mali. And you go through the disciplinary process. So you start with inviting them over for a formal investigation process, a meeting, and then you will conduct the investigation process. And then you will let them know, give them a chance to actually air their side na, ito yung nangyari kasi on that. And then based on your investigation, the employer will make a decision whether dismissible ba to. Normally, serious misconduct, dismissible siya. Pag misconduct, minsan warning lang, no? So it's unlawful for us to say, mag-resign ka na lang. Hindi pwedeng ganun. Illegal dismissal ang katapat namin pag sinabi namin yun dun.
So dapat idaan pa rin sa parang
idadaan
i-evaluate
pa rin sa process. Kasi
So
they have sorry.
So for example, yung mga Filipinos dito sa New Zealand na may business nga, so they cannot just approach isang trabahante na mag-resign ka na. Hindi ko na gusto yung mukha mo. They cannot say that.
Hindi pwede. Hindi pwede. That's unlawful.
Ayan, na. Okay.
And then ang palaging magiging basehan dito, Kuya Rex, is the individual employment agreement or yung IEA na pinipirmahan ninyo, 'di ba,
And it
as
has to be
employee.
documented all the time.
Yes, you have to always refer to that kasi minsan may iba't ibang conditions na nilalagay si employer. So you have to make sure na ito ba aligned with kung ano yung nilagay doon sa individual contract na binigay sa'yo. So, and then, yung ganun yun. Hindi pwedeng, mag-resign ka.
I don't know if it's the right question to ask. Kasi alam ko sa Pilipinas, pero alam naman natin yung palakaras Pilipinas, pero generally speaking, ang law is really pabor doon sa labor or sa employee. Dito ba sa New Zealand, ganun din ba? Mas pinapaboran ang employee or patas lang?
Mas iba-iba to pero ako personally, I think the employees here are really protected by the law. So okay. I wouldn't say pro worker siya, but yung parameters that they have set are really good in terms of protecting the employees' rights. So hindi ko masasabing totally, pero in the same manner, meron din namang protection si employer na nakikita ko Pero you're ensuring that both parties are protected. I think yun yung take ko.
Which is, dapat fair lang rin talaga. Alam mo, i-flash ko lang itong sinabi ni Bro James. Maganda maganda ito siya Train up an employer that he may leave, take care of him that he may stay. Ganda nga. Kasi alam mo, yung experience ko niyan, mayroon ako sarili experience yan. My first and only employment sa Cebu, the boss was so good to me, para siyang second tatay ko na, that it was next to impossible. Kasi ang treatment ko sa trabaho ko, even before when I was working with my dad sa hardware nila, ang treatment ko akin parang inaangkin ko yung work ko na parang akin yung workplace. I mean, alam mo ibig sabihin? Like, hindi ko kinoconsider sarili ko as ilang empleyado lang, ito lang gawin ko kasi ito lang binabayaran sa akin. I really make things na nakakontribute ako doon sa growth ng company. So when it was my time to leave, kasi mayroon din kong sariling plano sa buhay, tapos inakit na ako ni Joanne, yung misis ko.
Inakit talaga.
I really had to say goodbye. But even saying goodbye was not even clear. Ang sabi ko, naalala ko pa yung sarili ko telling him na I need a vacation or I need a break. Sabi niya, ilang weeks. Matagal akong nakasagot kasi he trained me, he sent me to a master's degree course, so we have good plans together So yun, tama yung sinabi ni James. Thank you for that. Big shout out pala kay, we have a viewer from Switzerland, good morning. Good morning,
Good morning
Switzerland. Hi,
po.
Rose, kumusta? Chel, eto pa, saying goodbye. Saying goodbye never easy kung both of you are in love, di ba? Parang ang relationship, ano?
Opo. Kaya halintulad ko talaga siya sa relationship.
Tama nga, ano? Okay, now we're down to our last 10 minutes. Let's go to, yung maganda yung topic na sinabi mo eh. What are the biggest issues nowadays with regards to HR? So, I'll flash this one.
Sige po. So,
Sige.
first of all, yung well-being, it's a big issue talaga ngayon, especially after COVID, no, na nangyari. Parang after COVID-19 nung nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic, parang it's really a game changer in the work landscape kasi ang daming realization, ang daming productivity gains when that happened na ay pwede pala tayong maging productive kahit wala tayo sa office, 'di ba? And
Yes.
we appreciate more the time to be with the family while we're working, for instance, or having that flexibility. So I think one of the productivity gains that we got from COVID-19 is having that work-life balance better. And this is one of the things, actually isa to sa mga pinaka-hinahanap ng mga empleyado pag nag-a-apply sila ng work. Kasi ito yung magiging sustainable para sa kanila in the long run. So
Yes,
like for
yes.
instance, there are companies who are willing to adjust the work schedule just to fit whatever personal circumstances of their employees have. So like for instance, I'm lucky enough for instance na, nahahatid ko yung anak ko kasi I can work later and then spend a little bit of other time na sa ibang oras ko naman siya nilalagay pag nasundo ko naman na siya. So yung having that flexibility malaking bagay kasi hindi ka
Tama.
confined into the 9 to 5 work schedule lang. So it's
Yun,
something
napansin ko
that
dito sa New Zealand, no? Medyo flexible konti sa mga ganyan, di ba?
flexible, oo. Yun yung talagang na-enjoy ko. Tsaka parang sabi ko nga nung lumipat ako dito sa Pilipinas kasi imposible yata yung yung hindi ka mag 9 to 5 or 9 to sawa ang tawag nila, di ba?
Yeah.
Isa talagang gain ko dito or yung benefit ko dito is having more time with my family, which
Oo
is
naman.
really,
Oo naman.
really beneficial. Yun.
Oo
Next
naman.
is the soft skills. So this is something to do with well-being as well. Kasi ang number one, isa sa mga tinitingnan din ng mga employers kapag kumukuha sila ng empleyado is ano yung outlook ng tao. Positive ba to? Resilient ba siya? Kasi napakaraming changes nating pinagdadaanan ngayon.
Yes.
So it's very important. Hindi ko alam kung paano i-show yung resilience pero sometimes it is seen on your CV. How long have you stayed in the company? Especially kung alam nilang medyo mahirap yung work. So makikita nila how resilient you are. And then tinitingnan din how empowered you are pag nagsalita ka na. So ito yung mga bagay na aside from the technical skills na hinahanap nila, meron ka ba nito? And more often than not, marami nang meron ng technical skills. Magkakatalon na lang kayo sa soft skills.
Skills.
Yes, so it's something that you need to really improve on. Na sinasabi namin soft skills. Ano ba itong mga soft skills ito? Pag halimbawa, yung energy mo, yung vibe mo, pag in-interview ka. Yes, diba? Very important yun Kasi yung interviewin mo na parang walang energy, diba? So mas gugustuhin mo yung full of energy talaga, diba?
Okay.
Next, technology and data.
Depende sa trabaho, Chel. Baka may mga trabaho kasi naisip ko, hindi ko lang sabihin, kailangan na medyo lethargic hindi masyadong energetic. Anyway, biro lang.
Depende rin sa role.
Okay.
Technology and data. Nowadays kasi data-driven na tayo So we rely heavily on what the data says. And yung kapag nag-invest ka in time to analyze kung ano yung mga information na nakukuha mo, malaki yung maitutulong niya in your planning, no? Pag naggagawa ka ng mga strategies in place for your company. So, this is a very important aspect. At saka yung pagkakaroon mo ng digital skills, like Kuya Rex, yung ginagawa mo ngayon, ng mga pang switching at yung,
diba?
It's I think nowadays, it's survival. Tapos, di ba, yung nauso yung Zoom, yung Teams, di ba? Na kung wala yun.
Zumba, ngayon Zoom na.
Oo, dati Zumba ngayon. It's very important na marunong din kung gusto niya talagang maging marketable kayo. Kasi these are the basic things na titingnan din ng mga employers. Tsaka
Okay.
employer din mismo, kahit kailangan marunong din siya nun kasi it's the way to connect now eh. Ito na yung moving forward. Yun. And then, leadership and culture, hindi ito naluluma. Sabi nga nila,
Always. Yeah.
always, 'di ba? Especially dito sa Auckland for instance na napakaraming nationalities, no? We always wanted to have a diverse culture pero inclusive, which is sa totoo lang napakahirap gawin kasi people coming from different backgrounds would have different beliefs, different personalities. And for them to get together and achieve towards a common goal, it requires a lot of hard work and effort bago mo ma-achieve yon. Pero
Tama.
HR will be there to actually help you shape the company's culture.
Yeah.
Towards
The good thing about ano Chela, ano ko lang, angat ko lang kunti yung upuan ng Pinoy. Yeah, go Pinoy. Alam mo, the good thing about Filipinos is we can be at par with the best. Come to think of it, ang dami nagsasucceed talaga given the right environment, given the right opportunity. Kaya lang, yung nga hindi exposed pa sa workplace dito, ano yung mga culture dito, sometimes we tend to undersell ourselves. Ibang hindi natin, and sometimes we really have to market ourselves din kasi it's a competitive market out there, di ba?
Totoo yun.
And then ano naman itong of course, coping with change.
Coping with change, napakalaking bagay niyan kasi yan yung parang responsiveness mo kung papaano ka magre-respond doon sa changes na nangyayari sa iyo, no? So, ang isang mga tinitingnan natin diyan yung pagiging agile mo, no? So, are you quick to respond to the changes happening around you? Kasi kung ikaw yung tipong, halimbawa, yung sa technology na lang, kailangan mapatunayan mo na, hindi, kaya kong sumabay. Kahit na halimbawa, may edad ako ng konti. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng nasa New Zealand, bata. Ako halimbawa, hindi na ako bata.
Sarili mo ginawa example. Okay, go.
Sarili ko na lang, hindi ako millennial. So, pero nakikipagsabayan ako doon sa mga halimbawa mga applicants na millennial. I need to be able to show na I'm also coping with change. Or even if nandito na ako sa loob ng company na to, kailangan may pakita ko pa rin na I'm still coping with change kasi that's one of the parang basic qualities din na hinahanap ng mga employers.
So
and even the upskilling and be open palagi dun sa kung ano yung dapat mong matutunan. Employer side, they should be able to be ready din naman with the change kasi kung halimbawa lumalaki na yung company nila, yung dating ginagawa nila na 5 tao lang sila, hindi na mag-work kung 100 na katao na kayo. So there should be systems in place, processes in place. So kasama sa pag-grow, 'di ba?
Yun ang people ng, again, I'm going back to the Filipinos na may business ngayon, whether sa Philippines or dito sa New Zealand or saan man sa Australia, may mga viewers tayong from all over. Hi Bethel pala, all the way from Davao yata ito sa Bethel or sa General Santos, I think. Yun ang pitfall yung yung treatment mo sa negosyo mo sa mga tao, the same pa rin na nag-grow na yung company mo. So minsan na ano yung mga ibang tao na, how do you say that, na alienate kasi hindi na lang bibigyan ng pansin katulad when mabuti pa nung maliit pa lang kami, ganito. Ngayon parang hindi na kami pinapansin. Ano? Tama talaga. So coping with change. Wow. Just like that, we are approaching our last minute. So Chel, last few words, please, HR.
Ano nga ba? Kasi gusto ko lang siguro mabago yung yung impression ng mga tao about HR. Kasi sa amin, pag pinapatawag ng HR, parang natatakot yung mga tao. Sabi nila, may ginawa ba akong mali? And it's not just experienced here, pero kahit sa Pilipinas, pag pinatawag ka ng HR, may ginawa kang mali. It shouldn't be the case. Kasi ang HR is there to support everyone within the organization. And gone are the days na parang puro admin paperwork lang kami. Kaya nga nag-evolve na rin yung name namin, naging human capital na kami, naging people and culture. Ngayon, we're considered more of a business partner kasi we partner with yung mga service managers or yung mga managers mismo to make things work for the whole organization. Tapos, yun, it's all about people. And trust is a very big factor when you deal with people. And ang overall bottom line is, ano yung employment experience, ano yung experience ng tao sa company mo that would define your brand. So, meron tayong naririnig na employment brand, di ba? Ano ba yung employment brand mo? Lahat yan manggagaling sa kung ano yung naranasan ng mga taong nag-join ng company mo or nararanasan nila. So they
Thank you
would
so
be
much,
your
Chel.
ambassadors or advocates.
All right. Thank you so much, Chel, for spending, your time for, this conversation with me. Ang dami ko natutunan. Wow, ako yata una ang dami natutunan eh. Again, maraming salamat. Stay ka muna sa studio ha. Kausapin
Opo.
kita maya. Okay, there you go guys. Ang bilis ng oras natin. As I said, this will be the last sa series ng tungkol sa business. So, alam nyo, talaga yung tao talaga sa negosyo, I would say, are very, very important talaga sa growth at sustainability ng kung anumang negosyo meron kayo. And next week pala, ang pag-usapan natin is about money, pera. So I have a guest who just recently joined us sa NZHL North Coast. Grabe yung credentials din niya. And next week, we'll be talking even beyond financial literacy. We'll be talking about financial capability. So in fact, we're coming up with this seminar. So perang pinaghirapan ating pausapan beyond financial literacy. That will be 3:30 to 5 p.m. Saturday, 29 August in Takapuna. Na lang, if you want to join us, you just email me as shown here at the bottom. Paki-email to reserve your seat. Limited seats lang siya eh. I think there will be just 40 seats available. It will be a workshop seminar actually. We'll be doing some statements and stuff like that. So with that, I would like to say good night. Overtime tayong ngayong gabi kasi medyo exciting talaga yung topic for me personally. And I would say unshackle yourself. It is the only way to live. Be free. Good night and enjoy your weekend. Bye for now.